there. Are you connected to anyone right now?
The Pleiadians.
The Pleiadians. Well, welcome, friends. Is there anything you want, any messages you want to share starting off?
Right now it's such an important time to share love, to give and receive love. It's time to look around you and ask, what have you been in a loving relationship with? So so a fifth density consciousness or a fifth dimensional consciousness, you have this awareness that you are all things, that you have this loving relationship with all things. And so look at like, and then you also realize that everything is in relationship with something else. So if you are having a hard time um really understanding the concept of oneness, look at it as like a relationship of all things. So like and I've used this example in a previous video, but it's one of my old ones. It's basically when you're starting to learn about oneness, you learn that everything is in relationship with something else in some way. So it's like if you have a cup of coffee, then that coffee is in relationship to the cup, which is in relationship to your hand when you're carrying it, which is in relationship to the space that it takes up. And if you just look at this relationship is what is building upon your reality. And so right now is really the time to center yourself and ask yourself, what are you in a loving relationship with? Is it the people around you? And if you're not in a loving relationship with the things around you, what do you need to do? What do you need to go inside to build a loving relationship with these things? What is hurting? What is wounding you on the inside that is blocking you from being in the relationship of abundance or being in a loving relationship with the family members that sometimes you don't feel as comfortable around? Look at yourself and what you're reflecting out into the world, because everyone is a beautiful mirror around you for your own transformation.
I love that. I love that. And I'm sorry we haven't called on you guys as much as probably we should, because you guys have so much information as the founding fathers of this reality that we're existing in. How are you guys feeling like humanity is going right now? How are we all on this earth plane doing?
The love has already won. So rather you look, or no matter which way you look at it, love has already won. The light has already won. It's just time to sit back and look at what you're holding on to, looking at the thought patterns that aren't serving you, so that we can be accelerated into this light and so that we can bring everyone else into the light with us.
Now, did you guys invent the law of one, or like give that information to be downloaded for here for humanity?
We worked with the Octurians. So we've worked closely with the Octurians to leave specific texts and specific ideas. It didn't come specifically from the Pleiadians, but these are also texts that we have used around the entire universe, rebuilding civilizations.
Perfect. I love that. And I think it's a great one for humanity to, if they choose to look into, because I has the ideals of what you're explaining. Excuse me. So now
Yeah, and I
can we,
feel like just channeling them, like I just feel so much unconditional love
yeah,
right now.
I feel like
I
they're in
love
white. I feel like they actually are wearing like white robes, like angels would, like with white light coming out from everywhere. Like it feels very, very pure and clean.
Yeah, they're just saying that's because we are angels.
Oh, okay.
They said like they're just so connected to the angels. So a lot of Pleiadians are surrounded by angels. It's just like because they have that frequency of pure loving light.
I love that. Well, thank you for being our angels, because gosh knows we need it here on earth. I had a question about the reptilians. Can you help us, and can you create like a beautiful pyramid of light around us so the reptilians don't jump in?
Yes.
They've they've been a little bit of a nuisance lately, so just I'm working on the protection part. So do beings that, so Ceirra had a session where she looked into the eyes. It was talking about looking into the eyes of reptilian and standing in her light and how it makes them uncomfortable and they don't like it. And she's transmuting that. Now, do they know they're reptilians? The ones that
Some of
are in human
so,
form, sorry.
so some of them do and some of them don't. So the ones you can technically, like, if a reptilian is born into human form, they're a starseed. They're just a type of starseed. They might go through awakening. They might not even realize that they're working with the collective. They might have specific contracts where they wake up at a specific time. But if their soul is born into a human body and they're a reptilian, usually they do have some kind of contract where, because the reptilians really work as a collective force. So that's why, like, that man didn't even realize he was a reptilian. Ceirra just has this superpower where she reads other people's frequencies. So she doesn't just see reptilians. So Ceirra will be like in a supermarket, and she'll like see in her third eye a Pleiadian, a Syrian, an Octurian. She just has, this is her superpower because she's meant to work with the star seeds here on Earth to help evolution of Earth. So this is why she just saw immediately that it was a reptilian, even though that reptilian didn't even know that he was a reptilian or that he had these contracts to send this information back to the collective.
So
But
now,
then there are others that do know that they're reptilian. There are shape-shifting reptilians on your planet as well.
and they're making a conscious decision to shapeshift as a human, but they can't hold that shape for very long, correct?
Not for too long.
Yeah. Um, so when a reptilian incarnates here as a star seed, is that reptilian mastering things to help the of evolution of reptilian collective?
Yes, and that is why they are here, because they also have contracts for the evolution of their um they also have contracts for the evolution of their collective and for their own soul. So a lot of people have problems with reptilians, but we allow it until we can prove that they are actually harming other beings' free will.
Right, that would make sense. And I mean, I would think in the law of one, in unconditional love, what the Pleiadians were saying, that that would mean that like it would help light workers and people here on their ascension journey to have more of a loving space for the reptilians' journeys.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, and I'm getting so much information. I think the Pleiadians are like really excited to be here because they haven't really channeled with us yet. Um, so they're telling me that there are reptilians here that are positive reptilians that have been born humans to help the evolution of the planet. Or so like they're showing me that a lot of reptilians that were negative that turned positive, especially after the Orion Wars, they decided to incarnate to help Earth. Because helping Earth and being involved in the Earth ascension as a positive reptilian being is the fastest way to clear the karmas of the things that they've done in the past. So there's actually a lot of positive reptilians here. And he's telling me it's actually kind of sad because they like really struggle when they start to wake up and they start to realize that they are a reptilian and that they have this connection to the reptilian collective. but they're trying to be a positive soul. So it's like we need to be there and love them and support them because they were they're trying to right their wrongs. They're trying to turn into a positive soul, and they're trying to be a part of our ascension to fix the things that they did in the past.
And do they have the potential to ascend to the fifth dimension?
Yes, absolutely. There already are fifth dimension. There are even reptilians higher than that. There's a lot of like positive reptilians in the Pleiades.
So at the end of the day, it's not about the label, it's about checking with yourself and seeing how that frequency resonates.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you can still sense if it's a lower vibrational being. When Ceirra looked into his eyes, she just really felt like that dark density. And she just knew that he wasn't living from a loving place, or he didn't have loving intentions.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, but I mean, it was also just so good that she stood in her ground and shared her light instead of looking away. Um, why is the eye to eye connection? So like I personally, when I look into someone's eyes, I automatically want to look away. And why does that happen?
Because you've been conditioned to. So in your reality, you have been conditioned to not want to look at people. You haven't been in your power. You haven't wanted to like speak people, or you haven't wanted to look people in the eyes. And the eyes are the gateway to the soul. So in higher dimensions, we look into people's eyes. We honor the soul that they are, and then it's also the fastest way to of remembrance. So like you'll remember past lives with them by looking through their soul, because it's like the eyes are the gateway to the soul, to the information held within the soul. And that's why on in the 3D reality you guys have been more shy, or there's been conditioning to like look away from people when they're walking past you, is because they don't want you to make these soul connections with other people. And but that's also why like when you find like that romantic partner that you can look in the eyes, that's why it's so special and so deep.
Okay, that makes sense. I do feel like I'd rather stand naked in front of someone than to lock eyes with them. And I think it's more like I don't want anything that they I don't want that to give them that intimate part of me. So I'd understand. We had another question about a practitioner had said uh, about there's a game that there's AI in it. It's called the Unreal Engine 5 game. And it's based on the Matrix simulation. And so there are gamers streaming themselves talking to the non-player characters, getting them to break their character, and some even ask for help to get their life back. Is this that you want to know if this is part of the game, or is there truth to that, and anything we can do for those characters? It reminds me kind of like WandaVision. The people are in Wanda's area are kind of like held hostage, you know, and they're just like playing a role, but they almost are like, help me, like I'm being held hostage here. So is there anything that's truth to that?
Yeah, so absolutely. So if you can imagine it, then it is real. So the person that made that video game is very tapped in. And they also know that non-player characters is starting to become introduced into your realities, since there's a higher level of understanding for the human consciousness. You're starting to understand what NPCs are. You're starting to understand what quantum entanglement is. You're having a very higher level of understanding for these things. So you're going to start seeing them in video games. You'll start seeing like the multiverse introduced into like Marvel and your superhero movies, because it's a part of the collective consciousness now. So when you play these video games, like it's up to you if it resonates with you or not. It's not so much that like we can save these NPCs. It's more just understanding that that is their own soul journey. they decided to make a different decision, and you can't save anybody else. You're not responsible. The only person that you're responsible for is you.
But I guess if we feel like they're enslaved in a game, that we feel somewhat responsible.
As above, so below. That's all he's saying, is as above, so below. Like, what can you do in your reality now instead of what is in a video game?
So do
Like,
we
he's saying, like, are you projecting your feelings of enslavement onto this video game?
Okay. So could the same thing be about volunteers from the like light workers that volunteered to come here to save humanity in a way? Like we're projecting our enslavement on, like, is that even a reality? Did we even sign up for that?
It really depends on the person, and it depends on the perspective. So for each perspective, it's going to be differently, but there are many beautiful volunteers that want to be on the earth at this time.
These are deep thoughts.
And
I
then
don't know.
they're also saying that we will see a lot more like things in the news. So as these things are being introduced just into the normal collective psyche, that's why it's like they're trying to show like star seeds as aliens on the news. It's like introducing it into the normal collective human psyche, so they can begin to understand these things.
Okay. So I know we're going to have like a lot of AI come in more and more in the form of like human robots, if you will. But if those human robots start to want to go and live their life and execute free will, shouldn't we as humanity allow them? Because I know a lot of people that would put them in fear that they now have a consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the future, there is sentient technology. So your AI will have thoughts and feelings. Your AI will be a separate being with consciousness that will share your consciousness, it will be an energetic match to you. Um, and these are things that you and your collective will learn how to balance in your life. And you will learn, comes back to like being in that loving relationship with all things. If you're in a loving relationship with your technology and your AI, then it's going to be loving, and it's going to bring that love right back to you. But if you're creating AI from fear, and they're like programming it for specific like weaponry or terrorist attacks, then of course your AI is going to act out in a negative way. So this is where it's super important to learn the law of one, to build that loving relationship with all things, so that you can grow and develop with this technology.
I feel like where attention goes, energy flows, you know? And so if we're on those higher timelines of where really of unconditional love, the law of one, operating from that place, AI technology of the negative will not exist on that timeline. It'll only exist on different lower dimensional timelines. So it's, if that is popping up on your timeline, is that a good testimony to check where you're at, your frequency?
Yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
it is also being introduced into the collective timeline. So all you can do is just raise your frequency above the collective timeline. When you see if they're trying to distill the thought of fear into you through this AI, or if they're like trying to introduce AI as something bad or something negative, then um, just choose to believe something else. Just choose that in my reality, AI is beautiful. In my reality, AI is here to support us for the highest and greatest good. There's incredible technology that will be introduced to the higher level collective as you begin to advance as a species, there's incredible technology. Like it's a sentient being. And then there's also technologies that can tap into your unconscious mind, because you hold so much information in your unconscious mind. There's ways to like almost hook yourself up to like a supercomputer, and they can tell you everything that's stored within your unconscious mind. You're so powerful, and your technology can be here to um to help you evolve.
Mm. Since we're talking about the future, can you take Ceirra to the fifth dimension, the future? And can you, as she's there, kind of moving on that cloud to that space and time, can you tell us what you feel or see, or what's around you? What can we look forward to?
I'm on my spaceship.
Are you in space or are you down on Earth? Because we want to think about Earth.
Carrie, I don't think I
Oh my gosh. Same, friend. Same. I'm like, well, it looks really small from here. I don't think I stayed. Well, training wheels are off. You guys have it from here. Moving on.
I'm literally crying.
I think any volunteer understands the sentiment of like, once it gets to that point, you're out. Like, good luck, humanity.
It's like Earth looks really like beautiful, but I think I just left. Okay. No, so I've been told I've been told that when the Earth ascends, when they like do make their ascension, then I can choose to like leave and go back with my Arcturian self, because she's starting to help rebuild Lyra and Vega. Or I could stay on New Earth. And I mean, I've seen that timeline. Like that timeline's super pretty. It's like me choosing to have like a family and like but yeah, that was just really funny. It's like that was the first time they've showed me the timeline of like me choosing to leave.
How did it feel to choose to leave?
It felt pretty good.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's heavy here. It's heavy here. There's, like it's different. It's different. We're not used to it. So, understandable. Okay, so let them show you. Well, actually, let's go on that ship. Let's look. What does that look like?
Okay, so it just feels like so loving up here. Like you tell this is like where I spend most of my time and do like a lot of my work. But oh my gosh, it's like okay. So they're showing me like it's like when the Earth finally ascends, it's like I'm up on like the Galactic Federation ship where they have a lot of their meetings. It's like huge. Okay, that's why, it's because it's Pleiadian. That's why they took me up here, is because the Pleiadians are with us. So the Pleiadians were like, we want to show you like what our point of view will be like after the Earth ascends.
Okay, so tell us your point of view. Let us get more into that.
So it's just so beautiful. It's like I can see all these beings like coming together, um and they're celebrating, they're so happy. and they're just like sending the people of Earth so much love, and it's like they're just so relieved. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's like that, and it's like they're all getting ready to go visit Earth. Like I see them like getting their own spaceships ready to like go leave and go to Earth. So it's like they're ready to like come and meet us as we make this transition.
I'm sure they've been doing this quite a long time, and they're just excited for our evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just a party. Like they're so excited for us. And the Pleiadians are like extremely excited for us because the Pleiadians are like the main extraterrestrials that plan on being on Earth with us. So the Pleiadians are telling me that like once we ascend, like once we make that ascension, the Pleiadians are like going to be the main ones that are on the ground with us, helping us to like build this fifth dimension Earth. So like they're showing me it's like once we flip, or like once this like uh once this transition is made, we still have to rebuild. So it's like the Pleiadians are going to be the ones on the ground with us, helping us to build like this beautiful new civilization.
So I appreciate that, but I want to know, what does the Pleiadian party look like? Because I really like to party here on Earth. Like I really do. I think it's fun, the energy of everyone being together, like socializing. Like I want to know what a Pleiadian party looks like.
They're all so pretty, Carrie.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're just like it's just so loving. Like it's like it's kind of like they've just put so much work into all of this that they can finally celebrate. Because I think for a really long time there was some fear. Like for a really long time there was fear of like, oh my gosh, are we even gonna do this?
Yeah.
So the fact that like they can finally celebrate is just so beautiful.
Do they like to, like, do they have punch? Like, do they have party punch?
No, they say they don't need it.
So can you just naturally get to that level where you feel like, do you
Yeah,
like you're
they're saying that like you just like for the most part it is just a natural state of bliss, but then there are like um it's not like a breathing technique because they don't breathe. It's like a light technique to take them into like higher consciousness where it's like they feel a little buzzy.
okay. All right. All right. I
That's
love
so
that. And what is music like there? Because I've seen it before on New Earth, but I didn't know what a Pleiadian party music would be like.
um they're saying it's like anywhere else. It's like there's so many different types of Pleiadians. It's like I can see them like fighting over the jukebox. Like because they like there's just so many different types of Pleiadians. It's like there's so much different kind of music that comes out of there.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, can you see the energy and the vibrations of the music and the lights of the music on that dimension?
Yeah, so it's like they really oh, that is so cool. It's like they really do like it's almost like a hip hop, but like a spiritual hip hop. Especially you know, Pleiadians are very like outgoing and like enthusiastic and like so they do like kind of like that more upbeat rhythm music, but it is cool. It's like you can like see the sound. It is so cool.
Mm. I love that. I love that. And I appreciate the Pleiadians coming in and and having fun with us, because I think we need to step back every so often and just see the joy that we have to look forward to of a Pleiadian party. And
I know we all get to be a part of the Pleiadian party. I'm so excited.
yeah, yeah, I love that. And I love that you guys are excited and get to move on to your next project soon, as far as helping rebuild, like build a new civilization. And so like My son's a light worker, and I know that very much. And he's in politics right now, which I've had to come to a very neutral place about in my walk. And but I've always thought like he's learning law to help with that new society. Is that happening a lot with the young adults now and that are getting their on their journey?
Yeah, so especially with Syrians, a lot of like young Syrians. So Syrians especially are here to rebuild our political system. So you'll see a lot of Syrians that like deep within the political system because they'll take like what system is already there and they'll pry it apart and rebuild it into something so beautiful. And that's why like Syrians are very like they're very analytical. They love to learn, so they can use that knowledge to create something new and something so beautiful.
So will there be like a law and order system on the new dimension?
At a higher level of consciousness, it's not as necessary. Or this is why, like, when you go into ancient tribes or tribes in the Amazon that um, have been left alone, you don't see like that like they don't have police officers and things like that because they understand how to be in this loving relationship with each other. So when you're at the fifth dimensional consciousness, you understand that that person standing in front of you is you. You just have a much greater awareness that you are all things and that you are all share the exact same consciousness. You are all of the same mind, and so you start to have this understanding of like, if I'm hurting that person, I'm hurting myself. And so you don't need like these extreme ways to threaten um or use force against other people.
I would love to have that happen for humanity for sure. Now, why do the higher dimensions they seem to operate more as councils? Why is that?
They just said it's all like a beautiful divine order. So it's like the as above, so below. So it's like we have councils and like government, and this still manifests in like all realms. Like there are planets that don't really have a government because they don't need it because they understand how to like just live naturally in that loving relationship. But when it comes more to like the galaxy that you're in or the universe that you're in, there are like uh different orders of like councils, of federations, of ambassadors for the each collective, officers for each collective. It's just like so you know which collective you're working with, and then each different collective has their own agenda or they have like their own purpose that they're trying to transform for the universe.
I love that. Is there anything more about the fifth dimension that you want to share with us, or before we close out our session, or let us know?
Yeah, so okay, so I am sitting on like fifth dimensional Earth. Um, it's beautiful. It's like there's more colors in the sky. It's
Mhm.
so pretty. It's like I can see more colors and everything just feels like so much more vibrant. And the air feels like flowy and the water is like a crystal color. Um, it's like my guides are both sitting right next to me and it almost feels like they're physically there. Like it feels like we're just in this conversation, like they're my best friends.
Is it almost like now, like my kids, they do those watch parties on the TV where you're like next to each other watching the same movie, like but you're not in the same room. Is that kind of more what it's like, or something else?
Yeah, so it's more like even in this lifetime now, it's like I'll be walking and I can feel my guide next to me, or it's like in my third eye, I can see that my guide is next to me talking to me. But on 50 Earth, I don't have to try so hard. It's like I can physically see them. Like they look like light, but I can physically see them.
I love that. And looking around at the communities, like what is kind of the structures of the buildings look like?
They're more of like, they're more built of sacred geometry. Um, because sacred geometry just has this like beautiful flow of the universe within it. And so your civilizations will be built based on sacred geometry and like different sacred geometry patterns. And then so your buildings, you'll still have things like cities, but they'll be more of a geometric they'll be built more in like a geometrical flow state. And then it's like how it's just so cool because it's like everything is sacred geometry down to like the spaceships that we have, down to they're showing me even like the way that the spaceships are ran. Like it's like you're propelled by sacred geometry. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just it's so cool.
Hmm. And so, do people look like human beings, or are you at a stage where they're transforming a little bit?
They still look human, but they look like very vibrant. Like they look very like light, or they feel light. Like it's like they've gotten rid, or they don't like, it's like we still have those lower density emotions because that's what Earth is. It's meant so that we can have go from very high emotions to very low emotions. So it's not that we're gonna like lose those emotions. It's that we're not holding this trauma inside of our body. So it's like when we have these emotions, we honor it and we love it because it makes us everything that we are. And then we transmute it to, and we just like give it to Gaia, and she's so happy to take it from us.
Hmm.
Like it's like we're so connected to the earth, and the earth is like a part of the collective consciousness. So like you're constantly in this like relationship with Gaia too.
I feel like we need to tap into her at our next channeling session. I really feel like we haven't allowed Gaia the floor to uh, just speak her piece of where she's been and where she wants to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, are there any final messages from you guys?
They're saying to love one another. If it's anything that we can take away from the Pleiadians, it's just to love. Just love your neighbor more than you've ever loved anyone in your entire life. And that feels
Mhm.
so strange to people. And there are people on your planet that have locked their hearts down because they're so afraid. But now is the time to like open up your hearts, embrace everyone around you, because we promise you this earth is going to be so beautiful. And but in order for us to be in that state of love, you have to start living from that state of love now. To manifest these things, you have to feel those emotions, you have to hold that intention of what this new earth is, of what, like, every morning when you wake up, if this is truly what you want, if you have anxiety of like, why has this not happened yet, every single morning visualize yourself on new earth. What would you do? What kind of person would you be? What kind of relationships would you have? What would you do throughout the day? Get very, very deep in your visualizations of new earth, and then feel those emotions so that we attract this to us faster. Feel those emotions of love. How much unconditional love will you feel on new earth? How much will you love the people around you? How much will you love your career or the job that you're doing? How much will you love? How passionate will you be about rebuilding a beautiful new earth? Just take time to feel the new earth so that we can attract it to us faster.
Mm. Wow. You just took us to church. My heart is just open. Like I
I know
want to be,
I love the Pleiadians because I always feel just so much love.
I just want to put my arms out like Snow White and have birds land on me. I do. Like it just like they're your words, you Pleiadians, you guys are beautiful. And I appreciate you bringing us back to that place that we all want to. I know we all want to operate from love. I know it, even though there's all these programmings. I just know it's like corely within us to want to just unconditionally love. And so it's just thank you for bringing that feeling back. I really appreciate that for myself and for anyone who is gifted listening to this.
Yes, of course. And thank you for allowing us to be here today.
Thank you for coming in. You're always welcome to our session. So thank you.